And here's what's coming up on today's show. In just a moment, Torchwood star John Barrowman and his sister Carol will be telling me all about the children's book that they've written together. And Waste Not, Want Not. He was last seen on our screens battling aliens with his Torchwood team, but now he's using his supernatural knowledge to write his first fantasy children's novel with his sister Carol. Please give a very warm welcome, I know you will, to John and Carol Barrowman. Right, you two, what language are we speaking today?
Well, have to be Scottish.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
How are you?
I am fine, thanks very much. What are you two like? I mean, as if you haven't got busy enough lives. I mean, all about you, John, with Torchwood and Tonight's the Night, your own production company. Carol, you're Professor of Creative Writing at University in Milwaukee, do other contributions to various literary magazines, and now a kids' book. I mean, can't you just watch the telly at night?
Well, what we figured out was if, because of the time difference, there's a Barrowman working 24 hours all the time.
Yeah.
That's what we decided.
Keep it going.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
So where did this idea come from? I know you're always trading ideas.
The idea actually stemmed from a car journey from London to Cardiff, and I was filming, I can't remember if it was Torchwood or what I was working on at the time, but we got in the car, we had a couple of bags of sweets, and we
as you would,
and we started eating them, and I was driving, and by the time we got to Reading, we were on a sugar high that was unbelievable. And anytime Carol and I, we knew we were going to be doing a book because we just finished I Am What I Am, which was the second installment of my autobiography.
Yeah, so you've had collaborations.
We have collaborated before.
Yes.
So we started telling stories and asking questions and talking about characters and things that we would want to do in a book, and we asked the question of each other, what would be our superpower if we could have one? And we got past the flying, we got past swimming underwater, we got all that stuff out of the way.
Swimming underwater without breathing.
Yeah, that was
with breathing, because
no,
otherwise you sound like swimming underwater, like you've never done that before.
Yes. My superpower would be
to swim.
But we eventually got to the point where we said it would be imagination would be the superpower, and being able to draw and bring drawings to life, or put yourself in paintings, or bring copy paintings and bring them to life. So that was actually how it all came about, and then we continued to do kind of the work and the storyline.
We outlined the plot. We did a very detailed outline together, maybe 40, 50 pages.
Does he do any work, Carol? Is it all you?
He's good talking. He's got all the time.
Listen, she's the one who goes back, and I send her back home after she went home with about 3 months.
Away home, Carol.
Away home. Yes. Get home now and start writing.
Right.
She went back with about 3 months of information on the MP3 player that we talked about. She went back, and she's the one who's talented in the way of putting it on the page. I am going to claim no. I did not do any of the physical writing or that kind of stuff, but then Carol will do it, send me back chunks of pages, and I'll look at it and go, it's wrong. No.
That only happened a couple of times. But what is very funny is you occasionally do forget about the time difference. And so then one night, I forget what it was a reasonable time for me, called him on the phone and said...
Zach has to get on a boat and he's got to go to the island, and what are we going to do with the kids when they're on the other island, and then what kind of boat is it? Because I don't know boats, and you know boats and engines, so what's the engine going to be? And I went, it's 2 o'clock in the morning!
Get off the phone. Yeah.
Why do you two work so well together, do you think?
We're nuts. In a good way.
But I mean, as a brother and sister, you just get on famously, don't you?
Really? Yeah, but I think it's also because when we were kids, there's 8 years between us. She's older.
No, I know it's very hard to tell. I know it's very... Oh, there's a picture! Isn't that cute? Look how tiny he is.
I look like a munchkin.
You were.
Hey, everybody. My name's John Barrowman.
You're holding your watch.
Oh, and there again. Oh, see, I'm such a good big sister. Look at that. I probably just whacked them after that.
Were you close at that age?
No. That was... There's 8 years difference, and Carol would... At that age... Actually, I was younger than that. No, at that age, you're probably about 10, and that was the first time we went to the States, because I remember Mum said, in the days when you used to get dressed up to get in a plane, and she had dressed us up, and that was us leaving Glasgow to go to the States for the first time in 1970 and 71.
Wow.
But
I mean, when
we're
you're
closer
10,
now than we were when we were kids, because no 16-year-old kid wants an 8-year-old brother to hang about with them.
Especially not one that's singing and dancing all the time, John.
I'm not telling you what she was doing at 16.
No, don't. Yeah, no, you don't. But so...
Oh, well, you can, with plenty of time.
No, because you know what? My mother will kill me.
Yes, definitely.
Do you both still care what your mum thinks?
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, lovely.
yes. Oh, yes. I shop on them all the time.
And then I go to visit, and I get in, and we'll be sitting at dinner at the house in Palm Springs, and we'll be sitting talking, and all of a sudden my mum will go, Carol told me what you did. And I go, excuse me? Did what? She said, yep, she told me what you did when you were going to that one function, and then such and such happened, and da-da-da. I'm like that, oh, come on.
Busted.
I'm always the baby.
Yes. Actually, my daughter's better. If we want anything to get around the family fast, we tell Claire.
Right.
Big wooden spoon. Big wooden spoon.
Who should take after?
Yeah.
But listen, get back to the book, because the central characters are, well, twins.
Correct.
So is a boy-girl twins?
But it's boy-girl twins. There's
Matt. Have a special kind of relationship.
Yes, Matt and Em, and they are they have the superpower of where they're called animaires or animari, however you want to say it, and they have the power to bring drawings and art and anything they draw to life, and they have a good relationship, a bit tense at times.
Yes.
But they also can communicate with each other through telepathy. And they do it through telepathy. Carol and I are just telepathetic. So that's
him more than me, of course.
But they have a best friend, Zach.
Right.
And Zach is deaf and hard of hearing, and he communicates through sign language. And Zach was actually the first character that we created, because we wanted to say, we said, wouldn't it be cool? We tried to think of books before that had characters who were hard of hearing or deaf, but actually communicated.
That you weren't in first person, you know, because if you think, you can think of a lot of deaf characters in novels, but you're in their mind, so it's not an issue for them being deaf, because it's first person, so it's written in first person. And I actually went back to my colleagues at Alverno and said, how can you think of any books where there's a main character who's deaf or hard of hearing, and we actually are not in his point of view? We couldn't come up with any.
So we decided to be the first.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure if yours can think of any, we would love to know. We would really love to know. But we really couldn't come up with any.
And he actually is the best communicator amongst the three. And when you first meet him, you don't really realise that he is signing, because he's talking with telepathy to Em and the twins, and you don't know what's going on at first.
I mean, you are keen for people to sort of start a dialogue with us, aren't you? Because you want it to be the start of something. I mean, you're talking about film and telly already, aren't you?
Yeah, we're already in discussions. I'm doing the, this is the other part of my collaboration with it. We're doing and Gavin, my business partner, we're negotiating the film, television rights, and also we've been contacted by Hollywood about the film rights already. Wow. So, fingers crossed. Yes. We love the characters, we love the stories. It's 3 books that we have planned. 2 are going to be published at the moment, so we're just excited. And the fact of the matter is, the reason we did it is we wanted to do a book that we would love to read, but we also did it because we want kids to read. We want, and if they can sit down, and the picture, the vision that we had was when I took the Harry Potter books back to my niece and nephew in the States, and we were down at the lake, you know, all the family was there. We were all
a glass of wine,
drinking a beer, and we all looked out and we thought, kids should be water skiing. Where are they? And we went up to the cabin. Their faces were all on a book.
Oh, my daughter is absolutely obsessed. But listen, I'm going to get lynched if I don't ask you about Torchwood before.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
I mean, you're staying with us a while. Anything happening with Torchwood?
Well, at the moment, Russell T Davies, most people already know he's dealing with a personal issue, and it's not my business to discuss any of that, but we have been asked to, we're on hiatus.
Right, okay.
Because we're letting all things land, but I would love Torchwood to come back, as I know thousands and millions of people would.
We're working on a Torchwood novel.
Yeah, we're working on we're writing a Torchwood novel.
Just in your spare time?
Just in the spare time. For those 2 seconds.
Can I just say to all the Torchwood fans out there, the first chapter, what happens to Jack, is amazing. I want that to go on screen. It is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, well, there was talk of a film, but as you say, there are other things at work there.
Listen, it's not gone.
Oh, it's not gone.
It's not gone.
Well, lots of people will be very delighted to hear that. Listen, Carol and John, thanks very much. You're going to stay with us.
Yeah.
You're going to taste some food, I hope. After in the 70s, or whatever, I don't know what you guys remember, but people had big freezers and had loads of stuff in the freezers, and that's kind of gone, hasn't it?
I still have a freezer in my garage.
Yeah?
And in Cardiff, I have a freezer in the garage, and I have another small kind of ladder fridge, and then we have the big fridge in the kitchen. But I have to say, I'm one who likes, when we have a meal, if we do have leftovers, I'm one of those people who then say, we'll use it later. By the time you get to use it, it's gone. Yeah. My partner Scott almost poisoned Carol while we were over here with leftovers.
He saves things he shouldn't save.
But see, that's the balance, isn't it? Because there's all sorts of chat about sell-by dates. Should you?
What about think that if you cook food and it's leftover, can you freeze it after you've cooked it?
If you've cooked say a meat from raw, so you've maybe done a spaghetti bolognese and it was raw mince, you've cooked it, you haven't eaten all of it, pop it in the freezer and you can reheat it once.
Okay,
once it's been, but you shouldn't keep popping things in and out of the freezer if they've been reheated once. Then it's just trying to think wisely, I suppose, really. But it's worth making things in bulk.
But leftovers are bland.
Well, but Jo is about to show us that they're not bland, aren't you, Jo? But just before we move over there and do that, the one thing...
They're fine.
With leaves, sorry, this is really... Because in our house, this happens all the time. We eat part of the bag of salad, and then we get to the other bit, and it starts getting watery. Is that time to throw it out?
Yeah, because it will start to smell as well.
It does, yeah. But, again, my partner Scott eats it.
Or serves it to me.
Or serves it to my sister.
You. But just a note, John, I mean, if you want to perk yourself up, don't put yourself in ice cold water, because it's not going to work for you. Oh, here it is, John Barrowman.
I can't wait.
It's
fantastic. Waste not, want not.
My God, you'd get a piece at any door, wouldn't you?
So some cooked salmon left over if you've sort of cooked too much. Some cream cheese. You usually end up with a tub of cream cheese in your fridge that you haven't quite used it up for ages. So
thumbs up over there, Team Barrowman.
It is delicious. I love the flavour of the mint.
I'm not a fan of peppers, but I eat around them.
It's delicious.
It's really good.
That's the thing, you can customise the dish to suit you, really. With a small amount of chicken, you can really build it a big dish around it, and it's sort of good to do.
Get the salmon patty done.
So we've got salmon, horseradish. You know, you've always got a jar of horseradish in your fridge. Capers, stick a few of those in if you've got them. You could use gherkins and a squeeze of lemon. If you haven't got cream cheese, you could use yoghurt. You could use some
This is a nice
creme
idea.
fraiche.
I've always got salmon on the go. Well, I'm not vegetarian, I eat fish.
Right.
Do you want a salmon tip?
Yeah?
I got this from my sister. When you're cooking salmon, don't turn the salmon over. Just cook it from one side because you will never overcook it.
And just let it rise up. There you go.
I've started cooking for myself at his house. You can imagine why.
Yes, exactly. Take your own. There we go. And you can put it on some toast. And
That is nice.
It's nice in baked potatoes. It's nice as a dip if you're having a few people around for an impromptu sort of dinner or something. I'll stick this on.
That's fab. Have you got another plate?
Let's cut this in half.
There we go.
And kids will like it. If you want to cook for kids and you want to do something with less flavour, you could just make it a lot more creamy.
I missed that. Was that mayonnaise you put in there, or was it?
It was either cream cheese or yoghurt.
Cream cheese or yoghurt.
Or mayo. You could use mayo, but it's a bit rich with the mayo.
Yeah, but kind of...
I don't care about that. I'm just eating this. This is
delicious. And have a little sprinkling of pepper. You've got to do your chefy bit at the end, you know.
Yeah, I know. God, that looks good, doesn't it?
Sprinkling of salt. And then the other thing I wanted to show you, rice is one of those things people often panic about. They've cooked too much rice and they will probably throw it away because they get scared of, is it safe?
Thank you.
Are they going to leave us any, do you think? Probably not.
I don't think so.
But, cooked rice is great. You can keep it for a day. So cook it. If you've got too much, cool it really quickly, pop it in the fridge. Is it a success?
Yes,
oh, my goodness. You can come to my house.
And
this is cooked,
this is cooked rice, it's left over, and if you want to just make...
Somebody just said you can take that over for John and Carol. I will with hell.
Good.
They've had absolutely everything, haven't they? I mean, what do you think they are?
We've left you some.
Oh, good.
Oh, have you?
That salmon is really
nice.
good.
I would never have thought of doing that.
It's all delicious.
You always think rice is... You either throw it... You can freeze rice as well. If you've cooked too much rice, pop it in a pot, in the freezer, then just take it out when you need it.
You're a marvel, so you are. Right, OK, we might give you some of this. Thank you for all those lovely ideas, Jo. And if you want to make any of those recipes, then you can find them all on the Live with Gabby website. Coming up, I meet the UK street dance champion whose love of dancing has turned into a family affair. Plus, do wildcats really roam the British countryside? One Gloucestershire man thinks so. Find out more after the break. Any Valentine's stories, John? Do you have a good one?
One year I forgot and I paid for it for years. Yeah, so yesterday I did a simple card and I left a tin of Reese's peanut butter cups because I don't send roses.
Right.
Never.
Never send roses. Now, this is nothing jolly good. Okay.
Can you make my sister disappear?
My brother disappeared.
Well, we are all going to disappear now by the magic of television. Pete, thank you very much. It's been lovely to see you. And Carol and John, thanks so much. Really nice to have you here today. And best of luck with the book and everything. Tomorrow, ex-Emmerdale star Claire King on solving her insomnia. Comedian Alex Horne continues his attempt to become the oldest man in the world. Nutritionist Sarah Schenker guides us to the latest food and diet headlines. We'll be here at 11:10 tomorrow. See you then.